2020 did a lot of damage to a lot of people, and it also challenged a lot of people. You saw a lot of people leaving work. You saw a lot of people changing careers. You saw a lot of people, basically like, yo, I'm out of this hustle and bustle. You saw families get tighter. You saw families break up. You saw a lot in 2020, right? And so I think that 2024, we are 4 years, really 2.5 years really removed from the pandemic, right? And there's still a lot of residue we have not really yet to see. And a lot of trauma and a lot of traumatic. We lost a lot of people. Family members lost a lot of people. And so really, we're just in the second year of a lot of healing.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Speak Life. This is our 9th episode.
Wow.
I found out the time's moving fast. Happy New Year to you and yours. I hope you are off to a fresh start. I hope you're off to cracking its first 10 days wide open. We are excited today. I got a long-time, amazing friend and guest in studio with me today. Has been very integral in my life and has showed me some ropes throughout the years for sure. My man, Malik Carey. Malik Carey is the founder and CEO of the Family Healing Center. He has got a bachelor's degree from our very own Seton Hall here in New Jersey, a town I grew up in, South Orange,
Right.
in religious studies. Has a MS in organizational leadership from Nyack College. Was previously the COO of the King Movement. It was about that time when I met you, and y'all was moving numbers then. That was a big, big ministry. You ran and led the Overcomers program, a 12-step Christian-based empowerment group promoting disengagement of substance abuse. You're the current director of the men's ministry at Christ Church, the church I really started at and how we met. And right now with the Family Healing Center, dude, you guys are you've served over 2,000 clients from 2015 to today. You have an earnest passion for wellness, and you've created a holistic safe haven for people, man, and that's invaluable in a lot of different ways. And very recently in 2023, you were inducted into the prestigious Marquee Who's Who Biological Registry for your contributions to mental health, man. So we are talking to a decorated brother today, and I'm very honored to have you here, man. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us on the Speak Life podcast, where we're sowing seeds today for tomorrow's harvest. Malik Carey, my friend. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I ain't need all that, bro. I'm just a man who just love God and love people, really. That's who I am. So, it's good. Happy New Year.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward
Yes,
to
sir.
what 2024 is about to bring. And you're right. I do. I just love people, man. I want to see people whole and healed, right? And so I believe we can do that. And it's good. I know a lot of people out there got some New Year's resolutions, and they're just trying to get life together, man. And I'm just here to help.
Dude, well, I mean, that you do, man. That's how we met, man. We met with you just trying to help, man. Like, I was trying to find my way in life. Had given my life to Christ probably maybe 6 to 8 months prior to that. There was this promotion for a men's meeting on Saturday at the church. I came through, and I met, a couple good brothers that I still know to this day, but you were one of them, and you absolutely went out of your way to get to know me and to try to breathe life and speak life into me at a time where I was pretty much lost. I was trying to, find where I was going. I mean, it was a long time ago. So probably in my late 20s.
Yeah, I
and
remember you
just
so
trying to
young,
get
little G.
to get recalibrated into life. And
I think I saw you at your Christopher. I said we were just trying to figure it out, right?
Facts.
Yeah, we were just trying to figure it out.
Facts. So you've been doing that, man. You've been living a life of sowing seeds. You've been living a life of, reaping harvest. And I remember when you started the Family Healing Center. I remember coming through. You invited me up. I came through. I sat in your office, and you was trying to get it together. You was trying to find the right therapist and the right vibe and get this thing on the map. And And, almost 8-10 years later, this thing is booming and helping so many
it's doing
people.
Well, yeah. It's been 8 years, believe it or not. This January, I started in September of 15, but January of 16 is when we really launched with our therapists. And, the two therapists who started with me are still with me to this day.
Praise
and
God.
I remember sitting there with both of them and saying, we're going to figure this out.
I remember that, bro.
Yeah. And today, I got probably about 25 therapists that have been with me. And, some come, some go. But we've been consistent and our mission, which is really to transform communities and help people, man. So really that's our mission, and so I'm just thrilled that I'm able to do that, and God has chosen me to do that.
Amen.
Because, I went, believe it or not, I went to Seton Hall to be a sports agent, and I was walking across that campus one day, and he said not only sports management, but religious studies. And I'm like, what, God? Religious studies? I'm here to be a sports agent. And, I see what God was doing and is doing, and I'm just so thrilled and blessed to be able to, again, man, just serve humanity. I had my family is a family of social workers, right?
Okay.
They got some families that are doctors. Mine, everybody in my family was a social worker. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I remember they told me I'm a social worker. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And then come to find out, I'm a social worker among social workers. So, yeah, it's good though, man. So, yeah.
That's what's up, bro. Let's get into the Family Healing Center right now.
Okay.
Talk to us a little bit about your passion behind that, because that felt to me. Again, I was watching from a distance. That felt to me like it came out of nowhere.
Well, it did.
You know what I'm saying? It did feel that way. I don't know if it did or didn't.
Well, it did.
But if it did, give us the backdrop on that. How did that come about? And then obviously you guys stand for stuff. You've seen a lot of people come through with all different things happening in their lives, and you've seen a lot of people walk out healed. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
That's my own story, really. My dad had 8 kids by 6 different women. 5 of us are basically 2.5 years apart. And,
Wait, did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
5 of y'all
Or 2.5
at the
years
same
apart.
time, not 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5.
5 of us.
5 or
2.5.
2.5.
2.5
Got
years
it.
apart.
I just want to
Yeah, so let me break that down for you. Let me break that down. So I got 2 sisters. One was born February of 68. I got another sister born June of 68. I'm a twin.
Okay.
So we were
There
born
it is.
June of 70. I got another brother born January of 71.
Wow.
So at one time, my father had 2 women pregnant at the same time.
Got it.
Yeah. So I'm a product of that. Dad had 8 kids by 6 different women. I didn't know my father growing up at all. So I would hear. Now I had a father, so I didn't grow up fatherless.
Right,
I like
sure.
but because I had a wonderful stepfather.
Right.
But I grew up without a father. And my father, but growing up, my mom would just always say, "Yo, you just like your father. You do something good, you like your father. You do something." Mostly it was when I was acting off the chain. You just like your father. You just like your father. But for the most part, but what does that do for a kid who don't know his father? At least
Right.
a whole. It's like, well,
Right.
who's this man out on me?
Yeah.
And so at 24, man, I met my father. At 24, at age of 12, before that, I'll take it back. The first time I ever saw my father, I was 12 years old. And they told me he was a friend of the family's. And
Wow.
yeah, man. So ironically, that's the same year I started puffing on some weed too.
Who told you that?
My uncle. So I saw my father.
They were all in on this.
Yeah, so I saw my father. Well, I think it was kind of my uncle. We ran into him at a supermarket.
Okay.
My uncle ain't gonna just say, "Hey,
Got
by the
it.
way."
Okay, how old were you at the time?
I was 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You had
he
not
ain't
seen
gonna
him.
just go.
You've not seen him.
I never saw him.
this. Okay, that's
and
rough.
So they told me,
Yeah,
"Yo,
okay.
this a friend."
I got you. I got you.
And the way I even found that out, so my uncle introduced me to this man. He said, "Yo, this is a friend of the family's."
Mm-hmm.
When I get home, because I'm with my uncle, he calls my mom. And it's back in the day when you had a call, phone in every room, So they told me to pick the phone up and say, "Yo, that man you met at that supermarket, that was your father." Right? So you're 12 years old, you don't know what to do with that.
Right, sure.
Ironically, that's the same year I started smoking weed.
Okay.
So I don't know, must have did something to me. But always knew his name. And then at 24, I was working at a bank one day, man. I was going to work. And his still small voice, we call it the Holy Spirit, just said, when you get to the bank, I need you to look at to find your father. Like, go in the computer. This is 1994.
You were working at the bank.
I was working at the bank.
Okay.
Right. This is 1994. You remember what a computer looked like in
Sure,
1994.
sure.
So I go to work. I look in the bank, I pull his name up, and his number comes up. Right. So I just took his number down, took all this information down. When I got off work, I drove directly to my mom's house, and I said, "Yo, this is my father's number. Call him." She looked at me. I was like, "Yo, I just got his number." And so
that's that reality. I've obviously seen movies, but I've heard in life that reality where you got to check mom do or the person that kind of hid this or kept this wrapped.
Right.
How old are you then?
I was 24.
Okay, you're 24 years old. So that's as real as it gets.
Right. So she called him, left a message. It was November 94, right around Thanksgiving. He called me back. He called my mom back, and my mom calls me. We don't have cell phones back then. It was just, the house phone, and left me a message. Hey, your father just called. He wants to meet you. So I went to my mother's house. She was living in Irvington. I was living in Newark at the time. And I went to his house and met him. And 1994, and we were really adversaries, man. I was just so angry at him. Really, really just mad at my father, man. But what I realized today was I wasn't mad at him. I was mad at me, right? Because he was my reflection.
Wow.
I could have been I was just like the dude, really, ladies' man, player, all that stuff that he did in judging him, but I'm doing the same thing. One time I had 3 women pregnant at the same time.
Wow.
So doing a lot of this stuff he was doing, but, judging him, mad at him. And then, around that time we talked about, 2000, when I met you, 2007, 2008, I had given my life to the Lord early, but, I really started coming in and getting myself and getting my footing and stuff. And, Holy Spirit just said, yo, man, you need to forgive your father.
Wow.
And I was like, what? You going to have to help me with this one. You got to And, God has a way of telling you, he has a sense of humor. And then he basically, I get a call one day that your father don't have a place to live. And he came to live with me.
Wow.
It was a battle. It was a fight.
Wow.
But, I did what I needed to do. And I healed the relationship with my father, man. And, fast forward 2015.
That's huge, bro.
2015, we hiking on a mountain in Hawaii, and my father drops dead of a massive heart attack.
I remember that.
In the words, when he passed out, I went to give him CPR, and the words "daddy" came out of my mouth.
Wow.
I never called that man daddy a day in my life.
That's whoa.
Right? And when that happened, something broke in me. And I got him off the mountain, got him home, buried him, man, and I collapsed. I literally, about a week after his death, I couldn't move, man. I couldn't go from my couch to the bed.
But let's rewind for a second. You saw your father fall from a mountain?
No, he didn't. He had a massive heart attack on the mountain.
I'm sorry.
We were hiking.
Got it.
We were hiking.
He didn't fall. You were together. Collapsed.
Yeah.
It was a
family trip. We were on a mountain, and we were 700 feet in elevation on a mountain in Hawaii.
But it was flatland.
No, it was still, but yeah, it was terrain.
Where you were, correct.
Yeah.
He died.
He died. And he died on the mountain.
Got it.
Yeah.
When he fell, what'd you think?
So I didn't see him fall.
Okay.
The girl, me and my brother-in-law, we were a little ahead of him.
Okay.
And we just heard the girls. It was my wife, my sister, and my mother-in-law.
Got it.
So my 2 sisters and my mother-in-law, we were on the mountain, and they were screaming.
Got it.
And so me and my brother-in-law turned back, and by the time I got there, he had face down, and I rolled him over and tried to give him CPR, and he just died right there. So
I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah, nah, man, it's good, man. So and so I needed to go seek my own counseling, because I needed to deal with that. And what I didn't realize was that the therapist Bill Powell, I always give my man Bill Powell a shout out. Bill helped me understand, you just experienced trauma, and not only did you experience trauma, you really loved your father.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Did you know that at the time?
Not really.
That's crazy.
You don't know. I think every man loves their father, right? Whether they're there or not, there's a thirst and a quest for that.
But you couldn't admit it up until that point.
No, not at all.
She got it.
Yeah. And so then after that, man, I saw Bill like July in August, like he really just helped me. And so one day I was walking out the office, and he said, "Look, man, I got this place in Livingston. I don't know what to do with it." And I'm like, "Well, what you want me to do?" And he knew, me and you, we did the real estate game. We know that game. You know what I mean? We know the mortgage game. So, I went in and I looked at this place in Livingston, and I came back to him. I said, "Yo, won't you rent it out? Because that's what you do." He has an office in Maplewood. Why don't you do what you do in Maplewood here? And so, Bill has this way of persuading. The older guy, mentor. He's like, Brother Carey, won't you do? Why don't you
I
do
feel
this
like
for
I
me?"
met him.
Yeah, Bill, he's a therapist.
He came to the Family Healing Center. He was there before.
Yeah, but then you probably met him at my birthday. Remember we had the birthday party
got
in
it.
2022. So so 2021.
Okay.
So,
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He spoke at my birthday.
Okay, got
party.
it. Yep.
Yeah. So basically, man, he was, he said, "Come on, bro, go do it for me, Bill. Oh, he can't move." He like. So I put a ad in like the social work magazine, New Jersey social work magazine and stuff. And basically, homeboy was just like, I'll split the money with you, just get the rent, whatever. So we did, and believe it or not, a Jewish social worker named John Berkowitz, he bid on the ad, and he said, "Yo, I need some space up here in Livingston, and I'm moving from Teaneck. Would you, rent me some space?" So we said, "Yeah, we'll give you a discount. Just come on in, So I got his first client, and then it was like August, and then basically. You've been there. It's like 40, almost 5,000 square feet of just space. And he's in his back room. He's calling me like, "Yo, when you gonna fill this joint up? It's 13 rooms in here, and there's only one filled up." And so I was like, "John, I can't help you, man. I'm working." At the time, I was doing some stuff in sports and everything. And so basically, John, I came up there one day. I said, "John, what would you do with a space like this?" And he said, "Man, this would be a great place for families to heal." And he had his website was like Healing Families or something. And so I was like, "Yo, let me put this meeting together with you and Bill. I think y'all can work some things out. Be some great synergy here."
Got it.
And then basically at that point, man, I set up a meeting, and I was, they shared the vision, and they both turned to me at the same time and said, "We won't do this without you."
Really?
Yeah.
Magnet.
Well, they were like,
Magnetic.
We won't do this without you. And so I was like, "What y'all want me for?"
Both of them did that? He said that to you?
They both said that at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I basically just came in, and I didn't want to do it. I went and told my wife, "Yo, man, I'm trying to be an agent. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get an MBA. I'm trying to get to the league." Wow. God had another plan, man. So I went home and talked to Dee, my wife. I was like, "Yo, what's up?" She said, "I think you should do it." Wow. I'm like, "Really?"
Wow. That's the one right there.
I was like, "Really?"
That's the one.
So we did it. I went in and I started Family Healing Center, man. And it was crazy because John Berkowitz, he only lasted about a year. He had some issues that needed to be worked out. And then a year later, Bill was like, "Yo, he getting old. He wanted to really focus on his spot in Maplewood." And they turned the center over to me. So now I'm supposed to be with two partners. And I'm now here by myself. Like, "Yo, what y'all doing?" And man, those two therapists I told you that have been with me from the beginning, I just rallied them around them. I said, "Listen, I don't know what I'm doing, but we're going to figure it out."
Strong.
We're going to figure it out. And I started hiring people and really brought a couple of people in. Never do business with friends, but I brought a couple of boys in, and it didn't work out. But they helped me a lot to see some things. And it really just started to turn around. And, man, I just started partnering with RWJ Barnabas. And I use my gift. My gift, I'm a CEO, but my gift is relationships.
No
man.
doubt.
Yeah, that's what I do best, right? I build relationships. And I just set out to build as many strong relationships as I could.
I love it.
And that's how Family Healing Center started, man.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Man, it's moving too. With it being, January, first month of the year, people are, obviously focused on trying to have a great year. They're focused on trying to, maybe right some wrongs, maybe correct some things that plagued them in the past. Maybe they didn't have a great 2023. Maybe they had a fantastic 2023. They're trying to build on top of that. You are in the heart of mental wellness and holistic healing. So you are seeing it different than most.
Right.
You know, I deal with a lot of business people that are always trying to do better for themselves and their family. Your vantage point is a lot different than mine. Tell us a little bit about what y'all represent in the new year and what people are thinking about as they're coming into the center or hearing about you or trying to maybe heal and get better for their futures.
Well, we already know there are a lot of people who started New Year's resolutions that don't last.
10 days in, they might already be done.
Right. It depends, man. You know, 2020 did a lot of damage to a lot of people, and it also challenged a lot of people. You saw a lot of people leaving work. You saw a lot of people changing careers. You saw a lot of people, basically like, yo, I'm out of this hustle and bustle. You saw families get tighter. You saw families break up. You saw a lot in 2020.
Yes, sir.
Right? And so I think that 2024, you're 4 years, really 2.5 years really removed from the pandemic, right? And there's still a lot of residue we have not really yet to
very true.
see.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of trauma and a lot of traumatic. We lost a lot of people. Family members lost a lot of people. And so really we're just in the second year of a lot of healing.
Yes, that's good.
And, one of the things that I did over the holiday was created this program. And really it was healing through the holidays. And it was really just explaining to people Christmas and New Year are not always great times for people.
Sure, absolutely.
Right? We all say happy holidays and all that, but for a lot of people, it's not a happy time.
That's good.
And so, at this point, people are just running through the doors, just trying to get right-sized after those holidays. After Christmas, you got a lot of people who've gone through divorces, gone through loss, who just literally just say, hey, man, I miss my loved ones. Right? Hey, I got clients who didn't spend Christmas with their kids because their kids were at their dad's house or their mom's house, right? All that stuff is going on. And right at this peak right here, we talking about 10 days in, you just got people still drying their tears, man, trying to figure it out. And then we talking about the people who have figured it out and just want to you don't come through Family Healing Center unless something's going on, unless you're really just trying to, we do some life coaching and stuff like that. But again, that's this stuff still going on. Yeah. But most people that come through Family Healing Center got some real life stuff going on. And so just trying to get them right size, get them through get them, whole, hey, listen, you weren't with your kids for the holidays, but hey, you got them now, right? What can we do right now? What can we do in this moment?
Amen.
The holiday's gone, all of those things are gone. Hey, your loved ones are gone. How long are you going to mourn? Right? Mourning is different for everyone, right? Me mourning through the first holiday, losing my father, right? When we finally heal our relationship, right? I got to put a plug in for the book, right? Yeah. I created a book, wrote a book in my father's shoes, healing the father wound, right? Sir. But when you finally heal the relationship, now he's gone. That mean, we started some traditions with great cooks. We started cooking on the holidays together. We started, frying turkeys together. We started doing things, and now that's gone.
Wow.
Right? What do you do next? Right? What do you do when the holidays over? Because the holidays, it's a weekend, it's a month, it's whatever. Let's move you forward. And so we do a lot of moving forward this time of year. We do a lot of, all right, let's not keep looking in the rearview mirror. Right? Because that's a lot of times that keeps people stuck, is looking in the past.
Got it.
Right? Let's move you forward. Right? Let's move you into 2024.
I almost feel like, again, so on two different vantage points. When I think about moving forward, I think about what do we have to correct from the past to move forward. What I hear you saying is, if you go into the past, you can go back into a sunken state. Let's move you forward. How do you strategically move somebody forward when they want to be in a sunken state? Or better yet, better said, they want to be in a different state, but maybe don't know how
That's
to
a
get
good
out of that
question.
state.
Right. That's a great question. That's one of the things that we deal with so much because a lot of people want to relive their pain. It's comfortable, right? And if that's all I know, is pain, and right,
Right.
I give you an example.
crazy.
I got a great example about that. My goddaughter came to live with us, and our house is very peaceful, right?
Yes, sir. Amen. That's good.
When she came to live with us, she had came from chaos.
Yeah.
Right? She had came from this. So when her first couple, she's like, it's too quiet in here. Right?
Yeah.
'Cause she's not used to being quiet.
Yeah.
Right? Now she's used to quiet, and now she goes places. She's like, no, it's noisy. Right?
good.
You gotta be trained, right? But that's the mind though.
Yes, sir.
And the mind is always noisy,
Yeah.
and I don't know how to shut it off.
Right.
And I always say the most dangerous places, them 10 inches between your ears, right? If I don't know how to shut that off, and that's all I know how to live in, you speaking a foreign language to me when I start telling you, hey, listen,
That's
you
very
don't
good.
have to live here.
Oof. That's
Right?
good.
You don't have to live here, right? It's the person who's been in poverty, right? And you put them somewhere else, you put them in riches, but a year later they're back in poverty because they never healed.
Oh, that's good. That's very, very tangible.
Right? So I got to heal here so that I can get to where I need to go.
Strong.
Right? And so that's what you have to do. And it's real, man. We get stuck as human beings. We get, I love a book Joyce Myers wrote. It's called Battlefield of the Mind. Right? Because that mind is a beast.
Ha!
Right? And so if you don't know how to turn that mind off, man, it'll take you down some roads you don't need to go.
Wow. You spitting that fire, bro. You spitting that fire. I wish you didn't stop right there. But we gonna move on. So about these folks coming in, right? And getting them to their future. Everybody's different, right? How long is the average, you call them clients or patients?
Clients.
How long is the average client with y'all?
Man, that's all depends. I got clients with me that have been with me for 5 years. We got clients that have been with us the whole 8 years. It depends on, I love this saying, if you travel 20 miles in the woods, you got to come back out 20 miles, right? You got 40 years worth of damage. You ain't going to come out in 40 days. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
Right? And so we can't put a time limit to healing. Right? You're talking about the mind, right? But if you have a great therapist, about a year to year and a half to really, work through it. It depends on what it is, But older people, it takes longer. Kids, it's a little less because and again, it's people who want to do the work, right? You got people, again, here's the deal. You got people who come in there, you give them an assignment, they do the work. You give them a book, they read the book. You got some other people that come in there, man, and it's like, I just want to come in here and complain. And we don't do that at Family Healing Center.
Okay.
No, man, you're not doing that. We tell you straight up, you're not going to waste my time, your time, or the insurance company's money.
Wow.
Right? If you want to get healed, there's a place. Now, you can go somewhere else and complain and cry, but we're not doing that here.
Wow. That's
Right?
strong.
We want to see you healed. We want to see you whole. Right? Nobody's going to be perfect, but
Sure.
I mean, and it depends, man. You got people with traumatic experiences. We see it all, right? There's nothing you don't see. And so you got to understand that part too, right? So you got people coming in at different levels, different walks of life. And so it depends, man. But, any great therapy is going to take a couple of years.
You said if you have a great therapist, it could be shorter. What makes a great therapist?
Man, somebody who really helps you dig. Somebody who gets in the trenches with you, right? Somebody who, they create a treatment plan and they keep you on task, right? And they hold you accountable, right? That's what a great therapist is. It's not, hey, I gave you an assignment last week, Mark. Did you do the assignment? Right? If you didn't do the assignment, then I've seen some therapists say, you know what? don't come back until the assignment is done. That's a great therapist, right? That's a great therapist. Someone who's going to hold you to do what you say you're going to do.
No doubt. I want to do a quick Family Healing Center plug because I need to know, can you cover, you said we see everything. Talk to people about what y'all cover. And when you say everything, that's too much. I need you to get specific with things that walk through that door.
Too. Yeah. So we don't deal with the high levels of schizophrenia and the higher levels of mental health.
Okay.
We do have a couple of therapists that do that. That's really high level care.
Okay.
We cover more the general anxiety, family issues, family trauma, family marital stuff. We do that. And then we also run a drug and alcohol clinic.
That's okay. I remember that.
So we have a drug and alcohol clinic that opened in 2022. That's partial care, which is extensive levels of high treatment for alcoholism, IOP, and the OP. So that's all drug and alcohol. On the counseling side, we do family counseling, individual counseling, and it's more generalized anxiety, depression, family issues, trauma, PTSD, sexual issues, those kind of things.
Got it.
Yeah, so we don't deal with the higher levels of, you got the schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorders and stuff like that. We don't see those type of things on a case-by-case basis. Yeah. But most of our stuff is what we call general counseling.
Got it.
All right.
Are you diagnosing,
everything has a diagnosis.
How do you send those people, how do you refer those people out? Like they come in, let's say they're at that high level, you go, we can't handle this. How do you know?
We don't do it that way. What we say is this needs a higher level of care. Then we may send them
based on the level of trauma.
Got it. Right. So we may send them to a gen psych or somewhere like that. Yeah.
Okay. And you refer all that out?
Yes, we refer out.
Okay.
Yep.
True.
Yep.
Okay. The way you're so passionate about this, and it's funny, God, you were gonna be a sports agent. We're in here talking
agent.
Praise God, man. But he don't waste nothing. He used it all.
He did.
You building relationships, you're doing what you do, and now you're impacting kingdom business the way he wants you to do it.
Yeah.
So it's ministry.
It is ministry.
You know what I'm saying?
I gotta plug this one too. So this 2024 we opened. We just finished it up. We just opened Family Healing Center Cares, which is a nonprofit.
Family Healing Center
Cares,
which
is our nonprofit.
And that represents?
So Family Healing Center Cares is an organization now that we're going to be using to deal with people who don't always have insurance.
Okay.
Right? We're raising a lot of money now to really, we get a lot of people to walk through those doors that don't have insurance, and we have to turn them away for whatever reason. Now, our clients, one of the things that I do with my therapist is they have to see a pro bono client.
Sure.
But there are other places where they really need some treatment or drug and alcohol treatment, and they need care. So we're in probably about $1 million campaign right now to raise some money to get Family Healing Center Cares off, and it's really around doing education around mental health, especially in the African American communities, Mark.
Yep.
One of the things that we realize is Black men don't go to counseling. We can talk about that all day. That's something that I'm walking around being passionate about, is really getting the brothers to counseling. Yeah. Their counseling is the barber and the bottle of liquor, right? And so, really working towards getting that done is important.
Yeah.
And so last year I opened Family Healing Center Cares. So, and I'm busy, right? I got a Family Healing Center, I got drug and alcohol, and now I got an executive director, so just busy, man.
I feel you. I remember when you was you went upstairs, that was the alcohol and drug center, right?
Yes, sir.
That thing is fully
it's
rolling.
Getting there.
It's getting there.
It's
okay.
getting there.
Yes, sir.
It's taking some time to get where I wanted to go. Yeah.
All right. Man, again, affecting great change, man. I think at the end of the day, when you say you're busy, it's all wrapped around seeds that are being planted in the ground and things that you're showing great care to.
Yes.
In your experience with all of these things, what type of unique challenges do you see men face?
Oh man.
Because I know you're running this men's ministry, and you've been part of men's ministries forever.
Yes.
You've and you have a heart for men.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you think about what challenges men face. That starts to become generalized too. But I realize with men, you got to have a heart for men. Otherwise, you're not going to connect with them. Right. Brothers, they're not trying to let you see everything. They, we kind of, try to hold up and act tough and act like we don't got nothing going on. You've pierced many of men. I want to hear about this walk in the men's ministry and walking with men for as long as you've been walking with them.
Man, men's ministry is tough, man. Because men, we haven't been taught to, I like this word, one of my therapists gave me, it's called emote, right?
Yeah, that's an internet word now. That's supposed to be for soft people. Right. It's just crazy.
It's emotions. We haven't been taught to use our emotions. And so what do? We go to anger, we go to frustration, we shut down.
It's true.
Right? And so my biggest challenge with men is really just getting them to open up. The average man, believe it or not, has 1.5 friends. I don't even know where the half comes
really?
from. Right?
Where'd that stat come from?
Right.
Like, what? Who's doing those stats?
But, man, because what do men do? They isolate, bro.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to call Mark and say, hey, Mark, you know what, man? I just had a crappy day at work. I just need somebody to talk to.
That's so crazy. That feels more like generalistically something a woman would do.
Exactly.
We see it a lot with women and women's
and
ministry.
we're not generalizing
No,
women,
because
right, but you're right.
Because I in church, I'm talking church life for a second.
Right.
The women are they bond.
Right.
They get together.
And
they
men
support
get
one
together
another.
and bond, but we get together over a game. We can talk football all day. Right. We can talk about the Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins, or whatever it is. We can do all that, right? We can do all of those things, but we can't talk about those emotions that I'm really feeling, right? And let's think about every race. In the African American race, we call it the pimps, the whatever, right? In the Spanish, they call it machismo, right? The Italians call it whatever they call it, right? But there's always a word for, hey, man. You know what? I got to be hard. I got to be strong. I got to be tough. And, and it starts young. What do we tell our boys?
Yeah, that's true. God.
Men ain't supposed to what?
Cry.
Men ain't supposed to, but God gave us tear ducts for a reason.
Right.
But we stuff them things, and then we explode. Right? And so as a man, I can't do that because I've never been taught to do that. Right? Caribbean men don't emote. We don't do these things. And so we don't know how to, again, be vulnerable, right? So we got women saying, be vulnerable. What the heck does be vulnerable look like for us?
Sure.
Right? We don't know how to be vulnerable. And is it the woman's definition of vulnerability? Right? Because one of the things that I do a lot of times, a woman is coming to me telling me something. I say to you, you're putting your female on my male. So you're trying to tell me what you need from me, and I get that, but you don't understand, I'm not wired like that.
It's different. I never heard that.
Right? And
That's different.
Right? So a man is wired a certain way. So we need one another. Men need one another more than women need one. But we don't know how to say, I need you.
Wow.
Right? I need you, brother, just to listen. Right? And we got to, again, we do well at it. We do well at it in the bars. So I know back in the day when I was saying in the bars, man, I meet you, but it was superficial.
Yeah.
I'm talking about intimate. I'm talking about gut right, downright. What we talked about when I met you.
Yeah.
You was 28, I was 38.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because we 10 years apart. Right. So I need this brother to walk. I need to mentor him. I need to get with him without nothing in return.
Right.
Right. That's what men need right now, and more than ever, men need each other. We need to be able to be a soft landing spot. We need to be able to do that without judgment. Right? And a lot of times, man, he's soft. He may not be like I am, but doesn't mean he's soft. I'm always defending, because society says and hip hop says, and what's a man supposed to be? What a man to you may be different than a man to me. Right? I used to tease men who didn't watch sports. Right? I'm like, that ain't no man. He's a man. He just don't like sports.
Yeah.
Right? But he could play that sax.
Yeah, right. That's good.
Right?
Yeah.
That's his thing.
Yeah.
But those are early judgment. No, man, we all different. Everybody ain't hard and tough.
Yeah.
I know some dudes that soft and talk like, but when they put them shoes on, them gym shoes on, they'll come in that gym and tear you up, right? So we got to be real careful. But I think the biggest part for me and the challenge for me is getting men to understand, open up, be vulnerable to them, and the biggest thing is, can I trust you? Can I trust that, you ain't going back to your wife and saying, man, I just saw Mark. We need to pray for Mark. And I'm praying all Mark's problems to him.
Right.
He doing that.
Right.
No. What Mark and I just talked about stays between me and Mark. And if we can't do that, because once you break a brother's trust, you lost them.
Wow.
That's it.
Yo, you spitting that fire. That's real. Because that's the hardest piece.
Gotta trust you.
That's literally the hardest piece. You know what I'm saying? And like, when that happens, you break through those boundaries. That's when people can open up. That's when they call you on the phone. That's when they want to meet. That's when they want to fellowship and talk, because they know that their vulnerability is going to be able to be listened to, heard, felt, and potentially touched.
That's right.
But not exposed. And that's critical.
Can I trust you?
That's it. That's critical.
That's it.
Whew. Working with men, and what programs have you put together, initiatives that you've seen that have helped the process for what I realize what you're saying is, and what I've seen is the vulnerability piece. It's all the things you said, from being soft all the way to trust, and trying to, in your own head, play with, am I soft? and can I be vulnerable? And is this information going to become mainstream information? So there's a lot that you're playing with up here before you even could,
Emote.
I was just about to say emote to someone else. But when you start getting out of the science, you start getting down to being a tactician in this and really want to help men. What kind of programs and initiatives have you seen or have you put together that have allowed them to
Well,
be
you
more
know
vulnerable?
about King Movement. Me
Yes,
and Chris
sir.
Broussard, give a shout out to my brother Chris, man. We put the King Movement together back in 2009. And that was a men's ministry designed really to empower men, kind of more of a fraternal order kind of thing, men join. It's all over the country now, believe it or not. I think we're in about 18 cities, and Chris has done a great job. Kind of pulled away from that a little bit, still involved, but and recently, man, we launched in November. We created a program at Christ Church called The Warrior Within.
Okay.
And that's an 8-month journey into manhood.
Okay.
And what we done, we got 200, I think it's about 216, 218 men, somewhere around there.
Nice.
Where, man, they come in for a month. It's an 8-month course.
Okay.
On being a warrior, courage, duty, honor, those kind of things. And every month they get a lesson, right? So we get a lesson, and it's 8 brothers at each table, right? And each table has a captain,
Okay.
right? And then each brother has a war buddy. So at that table, you got 8 guys.
Wow.
You got a captain and you got war buddy. So every week, that person who's sitting at your table has the touch point with that brother. So y'all got to talk on the phone at least 5 minutes a week.
5 minutes is the rule.
That's the rule.
I love
now,
it.
you can talk longer than that.
Yes, sir.
Right? But I
no
want to know
less
you
than
breathing,
5.
right? and you're gonna develop. Right? You're gonna develop.
I know it.
Right? You're gonna develop that relationship.
Right.
Right? You're gonna start to develop. Can I trust you? And the rules of engagement are: if you in here, you got a spirit of gossip, you ain't in here.
Yes, sir.
Because if one thing get out, you got to go. right? Because we want to, again, we're building a circle of trust,
Yes,
right?
sir. That's good.
So now the leader of that table, once a month, has to make sure that those guys are engaged in everything. Here's the beautiful part about this: not just getting a lesson. Every month they got to go outside and do a physical activity.
Yeah, so with their
So
on their own or with the
we got 220 men. Just use that. So every group has 50 men. So and then they have to name their table. So it's Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta, right? So and then every table. So they're grouped out outside in groups of 50. And then they're doing physical exercises.
50 men together.
Yes,
So 50 blocks.
50 blocks. So you got
four
four
blocks of 50.
50 men or 52 men. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yep. And so those men are doing some type of physical
Together.
act together.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
So last a couple of months they out there doing burpees and but now when you're going through the exercise, you're not just going through the exercise to be doing physical activity. You're going through the exercise to get moving. You're going through the exercise and you're talking about what we're going through. All right. So 1 month it was on courage and what courageous act have you just gone through, right? This week, so we coming into the 10th. So, Saturday they had, next Saturday they're going to be doing another exercise.
Right.
So it's really about those things that they do. And when they're doing it with their war buddy again.
War buddy.
Right. And hey, that war buddy, if they see you dogging it, they're going to get down there and help you.
Wow.
And we got men of all ages, man.
That's
we
crazy.
I remember, Pastor Willie Freeman been out
Oh,
there doing
man.
his work, right?
That's my guy.
Yeah, so so you're out there and you're working. So, one of the things that we
That's
do,
empowering.
one of the things that we see again with men is, man, we get lazy sometimes, right? We don't push ourselves. We get complacent, right? And so, again, men become obese. They sitting at the table. They drinking. Nah, we not doing that. I've been in great shape. Last year I ran a half marathon. I got shape to do that. This
Praise
year,
the Lord.
one of my goals is to run a full. So I'm running.
God bless your heart, sir.
Right, yeah. So
I'll see you out there. I'll be waving for you.
yeah. So I in November of 2023, I ran a half marathon. I ran Philly. This year I'm trying to get into New York to run a full. And run a couple more halves. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's strong, bro. But that kind of program is extremely empowering.
Yes, sir.
And it's contagious. 200 men is going to turn into 500 men.
That's right. And guess what? It's so exciting because we shut it down because after December, you couldn't go in. So now we got a waiting list. But what's going on is, you're right, it's contagious because the men is talking and the other men is going sitting on the sideline. How can I get in?
I heard about that, man. What's going on with that men's ministry?
Right.
Well, we just shut down right now. That's a lot, bro.
Right, yeah.
When are you opening it back up? Because I'm feeling like I need to be a part of it.
That's right. That's right. You got to wait because you should have signed up when those doors was open. And that one of my boys like, yo, man, you. I said, nah. I said, we gave you an opportunity, and that's another thing, right? Get with it, right? And so those are a lot of things that we're going through.
No doubt. Now, mental health has become a very serious thing in society, a very important piece of society, but a buzzword. Do you think that mental health is wrapped around too many things?
Yes.
Break that down.
Mental health has been around forever, right? So let's talk about that part. It's become a buzzword, but I think right now we're in a cycle where I think that we are blaming too much on mental health, and we can be able to say, yo, man, get yourself together.
Right.
It's, the kid who don't want to do the work, so now I can manipulate it. It's that kind of stuff, right? And I'm not saying you don't take it lightly, but you again, anything can be taken advantage of.
Sure.
Right? Anything can be taken advantage of, and I think now it's becoming, and let me be careful with my words here. But we have I think in some parts we're making the young people soft.
Okay.
Right. I think we're doing a disservice. I need a timeout room and I need this room.
Right.
You need to face some of this stuff and get yourself together.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is part of it. So anything could be taken advantage of, and I think that some people are taking advantage of this.
How can you tell the difference? And when we talk about sensitivity, right?
Manipulation.
Right. So all right. So there's a dichotomy here, right? So we've got mental health in its purest form,
right,
and trying to help people with mental health.
Right.
Then we have the scale that's moved, the goalpost that keeps moving, and you get to a point of manipulation, and then you get to a point of we are hurting people who are saying this or using this as a broad brush strokes to get the benefits and the treatment of people that are actually dealing with this thing.
Right.
How in the world do you address that when it's such a big buzzword, and when if you treat it the wrong way, you're insensitive?
Right. So you got to walk that fine line, brother. It's just a fine line, man. It's a fine line of, we got to be able to understand it. Again, you need trained therapists.
Got it.
You need parents who understand it. Hey, are you manipulating right now because you can't get with your way, right? Because a lot of people do that. Are you, knowing your children, especially, you see that a lot more in children than you do with adults. And, really understanding, do I see it, right? That's discernment from the parents or teachers or whoever's in charge. To be able to say, hey, man, you know what? This kid just needs some discipline or those type of things. So, yeah.
We could do this forever. Because I got a almost 11-year-old next month and almost a 9-year-old in 2 months. And I see manipulation at scales, right? We've not wrapped anything under mental health to this moment in time.
Right.
But
kids manipulate, period. That's what they do.
So let's get into the discipline piece. Let's just say this person needs to be disciplined or more disciplined. Not disciplined like disciplined, more disciplined. So how do you get that across?
I think that goes down to parenting. I think that goes down to understanding each kid is different. All right. People say to me about spanking, and I say I don't believe in spanking. Now I'm a black man, and they say, "What do you mean?" I said because if spanking corrected the behavior, they would stop. So does spanking really work?
Right.
Right. If spanking really worked.
I felt like for me it worked a little like it stopped it at the moment. You're right. The long-term ramifications of spanking.
Right.
I mean, but who's doing spanking in 2024?
Oh, I believe so many people, man, still
really?
put their hands on kids, man.
Whew.
Yo, there's so many corrective ways to parent.
Sure.
Right? There's so many ways of saying, yo, man, you know what? You set your boundaries. A lot of times parents threaten, well, you're not doing this week because I said you're not, and then they give in. And it starts young. If you start it young, you don't have to do it later. Now I'm not talking about if you see a kid touching the stove, you shouldn't tap that hand. But, I'm not talking about those type of things. I'm talking about the type of things that if you see it early, you correct it early. You see a kid lying early, yo, what's this about? Yeah. We're going to talk about this.
Right.
If you see a kid, whatever, because we all come here with something, right? Kids ain't perfect, we ain't perfect, right? The Bible says we have all sinned and fallen short,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
They've sinned from the door, right? They lie from the door, right? The rabbit, mommy did, who took that? Mommy did it, right? Right? What are we doing? And so really, it's really understanding how to parent, understanding that, you just said you got a 9 and 11-year-old. Yo, guess what? Them jokers about to be 13 and 15. Understanding you're about to lose your mind because teenagers lose theirs, right? Understanding what that level is and how to parent through being a teenager. All of those things take time and skill and you not being frustrated. A lot of times what happens with parents is they're getting frustrated with the child's behavior, not understanding that this is a child trying to emote, trying to learn how to live in this society, all the pressures and all of those things. So all of those things matter, man. It really is about just understanding how to parent and do it the right way.
Sure.
Right? And that goes back down to being what we haven't talked about is just being emotionally healthy. Right? It has to be a point in life where we become, what does an emotionally healthy adult look like?
That's strong.
What does an emotionally healthy child look like?
Wow.
Right? And it usually is an emotionally healthy child turns into an emotionally healthy adult. An emotionally healthy child has a safe place to be able to come and talk to their parents, come and say what they feel without always judging them, without all the rules, without all the religion. I'm not talking about not raising them in Christ, but when I start telling thus, thou, and so, and putting a bunch of rules on them, you know, giving them the ability to grow and to be able to speak, right? You know, I don't believe that children shouldn't be seen and not heard. Children need to be heard, right? It's how we hear them.
Yep.
Right? It's setting the boundaries that they know these boundaries we don't cross when I'm hearing you. Those are the type of things that we do when we're raising emotionally healthy children.
And all of this is preemptive and proactive and almost preventative.
And intentional. Right.
So that less people are dealing with this type of stuff as they get older, correct?
Right.
Doesn't make it perfect.
Don't make them perfect. We'll never be perfect. I don't want to be perfect. I want to be healthy.
Right. That's good.
All right. And I don't want perfect children. I want healthy children. All right. I want them to be able to make mistakes. Every time that kid makes a mistake, or you on their tail, yo, why you do that? Yo, he made a mistake. Right? Every kid learns differently. We start putting a lot of pressure, especially on boys around grades and that. Yo, man, C students run companies. I'm one of them. Not A students, I hire A students. Right? A students are obedient. Right? Well, you tell my son, just get a C. Just get out the class, dude. I don't care about the grade. I just want you to get out, man. I ain't the dude that's like, yo, man, you need to bring home all A's. No, you don't need to do that. You need to get out. Learn what you need to learn. Take the rest of the stuff and get out the door, man. For real.
That's actually good teaching there, bro.
No, man, you putting all this pressure on kids for grades and all that ain't gonna make a difference anyway.
Right.
I don't care how much you learn. Yo, teach me how to count some money. Teach me how to take care of my business. My kid gonna be an entrepreneur. I don't want you going to work for nobody else. So, and that's just me.
Right.
Right? I don't care about all that stuff. Grades and all that. We putting pressure on kids for what?
No doubt. Talk to the business community.
Oh, my favorite.
All the stuff I've seen you do has been very entrepreneurial, very visionary, very business minded. We wrap this podcast in, this, kind of mental health savant or this therapeutic beast. But I know the Malik Carey I know is a businessman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So talk to the business community. What as you were building the Family Healing Center, bro, there was real numbers. There was real math, real book, real P&L, real people coming in and people, you build it, you had to find the right therapist. Some people came, some people left. You hired, you fired, you you know what I'm saying?
I don't think I fired more people in 2022 and 2023 in my life, man.
But you've had to develop systems, you had to develop pamphlets and manuals and all these things to scale it and make it successful.
Yes, sir.
Give us some of that stuff, man.
Yo, being a business person, I last year I just taught down at NJIT entrepreneurship class. And I've met a guy who basically said, thank you for keeping it real. Because I went in and I said to him, listen, man, being an entrepreneur is tough.
Yeah.
This ain't no glamour thing. Listen, I get paid last. Right? I got to make sure. There's so much stress. And, and people don't understand, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. I look at people all the time. No, you don't. You don't want to be an entrepreneur. You may want to go to work for somebody because let me tell you something. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of late nights when I'm sitting up worrying about how payroll gonna get made or what I gotta do for next week or whatever. And you try not to take this stuff to bed, but you do. Entrepreneurship is it being a visionary and all those things. Everybody's not meant for this, man. You know, it takes years. I've been an entrepreneur for 21 years. And what I tell people is entrepreneurship and overnight success takes 20 years. It makes something it's overnight. Overnight success takes 20 years, man. And and if you want to walk around and think about, hey man, I got to say the time with my wife, we was literally, and I say this, we was just trying to beat the 15th so I could get the rent in the mail, you know, and pay the car notes, you know, and then all of the things that come along with it, you know, the dreaming and the goal setting and you know, 1 + 1 ain't 2, and the failures, man. You fail a lot. I'm looking at this camera right here. You fail a lot. You know, it ain't all easy.
Yeah.
And those days when you have those successes, you know what? It gets good, and then you want to go do something else that you're gonna fail out because you think you did good. So,
that is facts.
So you know, you start feeling yourself, right? So let me go scale a little more, right? So and it's infectious. It has a lot of days where you win, and you have some days where you're just like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing it? For what? You know, you want to take both those degrees, that religious studies degree, that degree in sports management, and that master's degree, and go find a job. There's a lot of days that I've said that, like, yo, just give me a resume. Let me call me a headhunter and let me go find me a job. I think I could get a 7-figure job, but nah, man. I wouldn't have it any other way, bro.
I feel you, bro. I can't even. I'm in stitches just because you said it better than I've heard it in a long time. But it's so true, man. It's so true. It's so painful, but it's rewarding in its own way too.
It is. It has a lot of rewards. Yeah. It has being able to do this, right? Right. Making connections. Yeah. Being able to look your employees in the eyes and know that you've made a difference in their lives. Right. Those are the type of things that the rewards come from. Right. Yeah. I'm like you. I'm responsible for a lot of people. Making sure, you know, when I wake up in the morning, it's not just me I got to think about.
No doubt.
Right? Yeah. I got to make sure that my front end is getting paid. I got people who are single moms at my office, right? Making sure they get their paychecks on time. Making sure their families, you know, they got to leave early sometime. I'm not the type of boss that every time you leave, I'm clocking you. You got to go take care of your kid. You know, you got to do those things. You know, I got another young lady. I got 2 single mothers to think about. You know, then when I think about it. Yeah. You know, I got a lot to think about. And in every way, it's really, you know, it really is about building a community and a network. I love that family first, right? You know, my business is family, right? I don't just have employees, they're family to me. Amen. I take them home, I pray for them, I do those things. And being an entrepreneur, you get to affect so many lives. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, you saying it. So, I thank you, man. Thank you, man. You so much came to my mind, you know, just watching you work today and kind of, you know, effectively communicate your journey and your life and the things you're doing to create impact, the things you're doing to make a difference. And, you know, it just reminds me of this, how solid you are, you know, like oak. You know what I'm saying? Brothers like you are very hard to come by, you know, and I just appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man. Really, Any season that I've been in where I needed anything, you've always been available, overly available.
Thanks, bro.
And that's just who you are, man. That's just who you are. So it means a lot to me that you're able to come in and speak with us. But, I mean, it's clear as day, ladies and gentlemen. This man is sowing tremendous seeds. He got farms all over New Jersey that are reaping a harvest. You deserve your flowers, brother. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing in the community and all the communities that you're in. You're impacting many, many people. You have system, structure, vision, ideas, execution, and we need more brothers like you, bro.
Well, thanks so much, man. You don't get your flowers all the time. So I appreciate it, because it is hard work.
Yeah,
man.
no doubt.
I mean, when there's a scripture that says the harvest is plenty, but the labor
Or was
is
it
few.
few? Yeah.
Right, and so when we know that, I guess every day I just get up and say, you know what, God, just it's not about me, it's about you. Right, and when you can live from that standpoint and that vantage point, I just want to make a difference, man.
Yeah.
I want to see people's lives really impacted. I know Pastor David had a prophetic word over me years ago, and he just said to me, I was called him in, and he said I was bilingual. I knew the language of the streets, and I knew the language of academia. Right,
Wow.
coming from Newark to be able to be where I'm at today.
Yeah.
And, go to Seton Hall University and do those things. Those things were a dream to a lot of people.
Wow.
And so, I mean, God gets all the glory, man.
When Pastor Dave gives you a prophecy, it's a wrap.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah. Be a big brother. He said I was going to be a big brother and a spiritual father to many. So.
You've done that. That's done. So I don't know what year you got that. But
wait, there's been many more.
Malik Carey, a.k.a. Abraham.
Yeah, that's it.
Appreciate you, brother, man. Speak life. This man is doing that everywhere he goes. Thank you for your time. I love you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank y'all for listening.